Welcome to the Retreat Leaders Podcast, the show for visionary coaches, healers, wellness pros, and small business owners who aren't just here to host another feel-good getaway, but to build a profitable, impactful retreat business. I'm your host, Shannon Jamail, retreat strategist, business mentor, and owner of a 46-acre retreat center. I've hosted over 100 retreats around the world, and I've made every mistake so you don't have to. Each week, we'll dive into the mindset, marketing, money, business, and mechanics behind sold-out, profitable retreats. Plus, hear from expert guests who are walking the talk. Whether you're planning your first retreat or scaling your 100th, you're in the right place. Welcome to the show. Hey guys, welcome back or welcome to the Retreat Leaders Podcast. It's Shannon today. I'm solo and I'm so excited that you are here. Today in Austin, it is raining, which listen, we love rain, we need rain. But I was telling the producers, I'm like, I feel like a drowned rat a little bit and that's okay. We're going to show up anyway. But I'm excited that you're here. By the way, the only reason why you'd know I'm a drowned rat is if you're watching my YouTube channel. If you have not logged in and watched that yet, please log in and you can tell me if you think I look like a drowned rat today. All right. Well, today we're going to talk about something that really affects everybody in this industry, especially those that are trying to get started. Maybe you've either not held a retreat yet or you've held maybe one or two and you're just really struggling with why your retreat isn't filling even though you're posting every day. I do have my notes. So again, those of you that are watching on YouTube, you'll see that I have my notes here and I'm going to reference them. Otherwise, I will go off on tangents and y'all will just stop listening. So anyway, we are going to talk about why your retreat's not filling. There is this misconception. Some of it comes from just the old way of doing business. And even though we're hosting retreats, which are a live in-person experience, it's still digital marketing. It's still online marketing, right? You typically don't have a brick and mortar business where they're walking into your business saying, hey, I want to sign up for your retreat. Now, if you run a yoga studio or a Pilates studio or some sort of actual brick and mortar business, that could be the case. But more than likely, you're not going to fill more than one retreat with just your folks. At some point, you are going to have to do some online marketing. And one of the strategies that seems to be something that people cannot let go of is social media, thinking that that is the strategy, that that is how they're going to fill the retreat. And so you're posting every day, which, by the way, I probably will call bullshit on that because I've worked with many retreat leaders and they're telling me they're struggling and I just happen to go peek at all of their social medias and I'm like, there's only one post about your retreat in the last 4 weeks. So you do need to post. You do need to post often. You do also need to post so often that you're sick of your own message because remember, less than 1% of your audience is actually seeing the stuff. So yes, you have to post. But don't think that's the only way you're going to fill. And don't think that if you are posting every single day that your retreat will automatically fill. There's more to it than that because it really just comes down now to visibility. Visibility is your strategy. It's not just, I hate to say it, it's not just marketing. It's a whole visibility concept, if you will. As a matter of fact, right before I started recording, I was talking to the gentlemen who are the producers and the manager of the studio, which, by the way, check out the studio. Will be linked in the show notes here. It's a beautiful studio in Austin. And I was telling them, oh my gosh, I love your ads. They are super unique. They are just out of the box thinking. They're really fun. And like it's working for them. They're putting money behind something that's working. So that's a whole nother thing as far as when it comes to visibility, but it's a whole package. So it's social media. It might be ads like they're running. And it's also SEO. It's also AI work now. There's so much more to the whole strategy. So we're going to kind of get into it. Right now, most of you are just posting randomly, if at all. And you don't even, if you are posting, you're not even using a correct CTA. What's a CTA? It's a call to action. Are you asking them to check out your retreat? Are you providing a lead magnet for them? Are you saying sign up for my blog? Are you saying drop champagne emoji if you want more information about my France retreat? What's your call to action and what is the strategy behind your posts? So when you are posting, is there even a strategy or are you just willy-nilly posting? So some strategies to consider when you are using social media is behind the scenes look. That might be you getting things ready. It might be you packaging up goodie bags. It might be you preparing your whatever it is that you offer, whether it's yoga or a workshop or a breath facilitation or you working one-on-one with a client in some format that also will be at the retreat. Like, what are some of the behind the scenes that you can offer to get people excited? What about testimonials? Are you sharing past testimonials of either past retreat guests or people that you have worked with? Especially if you're new, you may not have an actual retreat guest, but you've worked with somebody in the capacity that you plan to teach, I hope. So what kind of testimonials can you offer as far as part of your marketing strategy? Are you providing a lead magnet? I just talked about this. So I'm just going to use an example. Maybe you're a breathwork facilitator and your whole retreat is stress reduction, and breathwork is one of the offerings. So maybe you could put together a video of a little snippet that's a free before you go to bed breathwork experience to help you sleep better, right? I'm totally making this shit up, but you get the idea. And you create a lead magnet for that. It's, you create a whole video, you create static images, you create a blog post, you create everything. And in this concept, you are capturing their email address, right? So maybe it's a video. You're like, hey guys, do you have trouble sleeping? Well, I've got the thing for you. And then you go into it and you say, drop your email below and we will send you a free video to help you sleep better at night. Or in static images, carousel images, same concept, right? Using text and captions. And the whole point is for them to provide their email address. And the blog post, same thing. All of it is trying to capture their email address. Then once you capture their email address, obviously you support them in sending the link with the information. And this is just an example. Maybe yours is a PDF or an ebook or a consultation with you. Whatever that is, the lead magnet is, you then send it to them and then you create a drip campaign. You follow up on that lead magnet. Maybe you give them another thing, so serve them again. Maybe you serve them one more time something as you're also saying, P.S., want to see this in real life? Join me in XYZ. Right? And you continue to nurture. So that's just part of social media and your marketing. Don't just post randomly. There should almost always be a CTA. Almost always. There might be just some fun posts about your retreats and some other supportive posts that you do. But for the most part, consider 75% of your posts that have to do with your retreat should have some sort of CTA. If it's vague, it's just not a strategy. It's not anything, right? It probably will get skipped and just moving on. All right, so let's talk about blogs. I know. I mentioned it briefly as part of your lead magnet strategy because, again, social media, great. Especially when you have something that's working and you put a little bit of money behind it and ads, great. Don't just throw money away, but all that's great. 1%, y'all. 1% or less is seeing it as far as your audience, right? And so everything should lead to your email. And a blog strategy is a really great way to, one, lead to your email, but two, to show up in searches. For those of you who are fancy writers and who write from your heart and these beautiful pieces, I love that for you. Today, if it's about visibility and it's about getting found, your blogs have to be structured a little different. Okay, you've got to have a keyword strategy. That keyword strategy has to be something that your guests are searching for. The old keyword strategy used to be women retreats or, retreats in Texas, just very, very basic. Today, the keyword strategy, there's a little bit of that, but you include it in what is the actual query. What are they actually searching for, right? Are they searching for women's stress reduction retreats in Texas, women's midlife recovery retreats, et cetera, and so forth? What are they actually what's the whole thing that they're searching for? And then you incorporate that into your blog. You answer the question that they are querying, right? Also, and then, by the way, that keyword strategy, it should be throughout your whole entire blog, still with your voice, still beautiful, however you write, but you need that keyword strategy in there. Then on your blog, it's a really good idea to have facts on it, FAQs. So write the blog and then have an FAQ and then 3 or 4, maybe even 5 questions that people would actually type into their phone. They would type into AI, they would type into Google and ask the question, where's the best stress reduction retreat for women? What happens on a women's retreat? Is a retreat good to go by myself? You get the idea. Like actual questions that people would type, put it in your blog. Put it in your blog, answer those questions, because that is exactly what AI and Google are searching for. They're searching for the exact question or very, very close to it so that they can then reference that blog and go, oh, yep, this feels like an authority here because There's a consistent keyword strategy. There's lots of posts about this. It matches the content. It matches what they're offering. Bam, let me give this answer to this person. Blogs. I know. Some of you are like, wait a minute. Blogs are old. They're outdated. Not anymore. Long form content is coming back. Long videos, podcasts, blogs, they're coming back, and they're coming back with a vengeance. So if you are not blogging, consider having someone on your team that does, because that is one of the best ways that you can increase your SEO rankings as well as your AI rankings. Another way is through Pinterest. So I'm not a big fan of telling everyone you need to be on all the platforms because it's exhausting. And unless you use a system like Metricool that helps you schedule all of these things and format it for each platform, which is an idea, you only need to be where your ideal guests are. If your ideal guests are not on TikTok, there's no reason for you to be on TikTok, really. If your ideal guests are not in Facebook, okay, then don't use Facebook. You can, again, if you're just scheduling posts on a system that makes it easy for you, but you need to spend time where your guests are. The only exception I will say for that, especially when it comes to retreats, is Pinterest. And hear me out here. Pinterest is not a social media. It's actually a visual search platform. And people spend a lot of time in Pinterest, especially when it comes to self-improvement, health, dreaming, planning, traveling, almost all the things that happens on retreat. So creating a retreat board for your location, creating pins. Google and AI love Pinterest, and it really, really drives, especially Google, it really drives your authority again, and it drives the fact that you are showing up consistently in spaces that people are searching for your information. So Pinterest, highly, highly recommend. You're missing the boat if you are not on Pinterest. The one thing I will tell you on Pinterest is that visual captures first, always on Pinterest. It's sort of like that on all the other platforms, on an Instagram or a Facebook or a TikTok, but there's a little leeway there, especially if it's, just a content that, wants to be seen or heard or whatever may be the case. But Pinterest 100% is visual, so your visuals have to pop. Canva is a great program that has amazing templates for Pinterest, so use the shit out of that. But you want to make sure that it pops. That's what's going to stop people from the scroll on Pinterest, okay? Collaborations. Collaborations is another way to expand your visibility. Could you collaborate with someone who has a big, warm audience? I say warm because one of the tricky parts that can happen is somebody with thousands, maybe even millions of followers will contact you. I've had this happen many times, and they want to collaborate. But when you really dig into their followers, there's not actually very much happening in there. So that could be one of two things. They've changed their branding, and now their followers are kind of dead followers as far as like they're not really interested in the content that they're sharing. They could have bought their followers. Or they just are not consistent, their algorithm's off, whatever may be the case. If you look at the actual activity of their followers, that will determine if it's a good collaboration or not. Not to mention is the demographic of their followers your demographic, okay? If you are wanting to host a sober, healing, camping retreat in the mountains, but the followers are super into champagne and tequila, that's me, and not camping, then you should not be collaborating with that person. You want to make sure that their followers match your ideal guest demographic. And so collaborating with someone can really help boost your visibility if it is the right fit. I talked about email growth. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time more on this other than you need to grow your email list. Email is king. People fight me on this all the time, but I can tell you I've sold more programs and more retreats, more everything through my email list than through social media ever. The only time I will say it's very close is if I have an ad campaign that's working really well, then it will compare to my email list. Email, it's the way to go. Okay, let's see. The other thing to consider is a warm-up strategy. Part of that is a lot of y'all are launching your retreat really late, in my opinion. There really should be this warm-up period, and that can be anywhere from 6 to 12 months. I want to share with you that for my international retreats, I have almost a 2-year warm-up period. 2-year warm-up period. Part of that is because most of my retreat alumni are here in the United States. I do definitely have some people who have flown to my retreats from Spain and from Canada and from Europe and from Mexico, for sure. But most of my people are coming from the US. That being said, it takes a little more planning, right? If we're going to go to Europe or the UK or anywhere else that's going to require more than a couple-hour flight. Mexico, maybe not as much. Canada, maybe not as much. But anywhere else around the world, it's just going to take some more planning. And so I do a almost 2-year warm-up. The other reason I do that, too, is it allows for a longer period for payments. International retreats are more expensive. There's going to be a lot more involved in it. There's going to be more travel involved and more time planned off involved and just all of those things. And it's a longer retreat. There's just more cost involved. And so by giving them this extra space for both warming up and then for registering, it allows for that payment process to be a little bit easier for them. So warming them up. But I want to share, I want to share that I am doing a retreat in France in September 2027. I've been telling my alumni about this for probably 6 months. Keep in mind, as I'm recording this, it's in April 2026. The retreat's not till September 2027, okay? I've been talking about it for almost a year. I started the interest list 3 months ago, right? So we're in April. It was somewhere between January and February. You got on the interest list, and I was dripping emails to you every few days or so, giving you a glimpse of what that's going to look like when you land in Champagne, France, and you show up at the chateau that we are hosting the retreat at. I gave you just little snippets, what this day is going to look like, what this is going to feel like, what the food's going to taste like, the environment, the chateau, the castle, all of these little snippets I was doing. I opened up registration 3 days ago. It is completely sold out. Every single room booked, sold out. It's not till September 2027. That's how you do a warm-up. That's how you do a lead-in. And I have people still on the list that are not my alumni that now, because I'm already going to be there, I've decided to add a second week. And I'm just about to open up that second week, which, by the way, if you're wanting to get on that, you better get to the link in the show notes. Warm-up. Enough time warming them up, posting about it, creating that feeling that they're going to feel when they're there, the solutions that retreat's going to offer, but warm up before you're even ready. And a lot of people are not doing that. That's part of your visibility strategy. It's also part of creating a sense of urgency is, hey, you're on this list, so are 60 other people. There's only 18 spots, right? This is all part of what I did for my France retreat. And so warm up, create a sense of urgency, and give yourself time. Don't wait 3 months before or 4 months before. I've seen this at the ranch several times where at the Retreat Ranch, our venue, where a host will book the ranch and they're booking it for 4 months away. And I'm like, okay, well, it's doable if you have a very warm list of people who want to go and you're an experienced retreat host. It's doable. But then I'll see that maybe they don't have those things and they're really struggling. Or I'll even see that they book the ranch, but they don't even start marketing. They don't even have a landing page, no way to take registrations for another month or two. And that, honest to goodness, blows my mind. And so when they come back to me and they're like, gosh, we're having trouble filling it, can you help? And we do the best that we can to help them. There's a part of me that's like, okay, let's talk about your strategy. And I just want to also preface this, that we don't come in and tell our hosts how they should or should not market. It's just not what we do. Everybody has their thing. We can offer ideas if we're asked, but it's just, we're not coming in and we're not running the show for you. That's just not how this works. But we've seen that. And I've just seen it in general where people will they don't even start talking about it until it's like, okay, I've opened the landing page, start registering. And they're sitting there like, where are the registrations? It's like, how long have you been talking about it? You've got to talk about this for months. Things like retreats where you're going away for several nights, people don't just look at it and book it immediately. There's got to be this level of trust that's created. Again, unless you've already worked with them, there's got to be a level of trust. They need to know, like, is this a real deal? Like, do I like this person? Do I feel like I'll vibe with this person? That takes time, okay? Not to mention the fact that there's just logistics. Like, they might have to arrange childcare and work stuff and, getting all these things in place, travel, everything in place, finances. There's so many things that go into somebody coming away on retreat that for you to expect it to fill with 3 or 4 months leeway is, to me, mostly unrealistic. Again, There's exceptions, always exceptions, but it's rare. And so you want to minimum 6 months, ideally 12. And because of this, like, it's one of the reasons why when people do inquiries at the ranch, I'm like, our spring and fall is booked out almost 2 years in advance because those are the prime dates. That's the hosts that are planning, that are really on top of their game, and they know, right? You plan far in advance. And I know some of you are like, wow, but that means I have to put all this money up front. And that's part of business. That's part of business. There's an investment. If you're wanting to host retreats that are transformational and profitable, it requires an investment of money and time, and it requires this entire visibility strategy. You don't just post and pray. That's not a strategy. You don't just post and throw money at an ad. That's also not a strategy. It includes all of the things. It includes blogging and possibly collaborations. It includes building your email list. It includes warming everybody up, getting them excited. It includes an entire strategy. It's not post and praying. Hopefully you've gotten a little bit out of this today, maybe a little idea or a nugget, something to help really get your entire strategy together as far as visibility that includes, yes, social, SEO, and AI. And by the way, just for my podcast listeners, I just created a little mini course for AI and SEO strategy. It's got videos, it's got my exact AI prompts to help you get visible, and it's only $17 just for you guys. You go to retreatleadersai.com. It'll also be in the show notes. Let's get you guys visible. Thanks for tuning in to the Retreat Leaders Podcast. If you love this episode, please make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your retreat besties. Want more support? Grab free resources at theretreatleadersplaybook.com. Until next time, lead boldly, serve deeply, and retreat profitably.